Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Good morning and welcome to the show with me, your host, JP Keyter. Here, tune in to brandlive.co.za, and I'm going to keep you company for the next 30 minutes. The match between the Blues and the Highlanders are currently underway in Auckland and is the first fixture in round 10 of the Super Rugby competition. The Blues only have 2 victories under the belt in this year's competition, so far in this year's competition, and desperately need to win today's fixture against the Highlanders. Coach Tana Umaga and his Blues outfit will enjoy the home ground advantage at Eden Park, but it will definitely not be easy against a spirited Highlanders team. You know what? The New Zealand's highly competitive Super Rugby derbies are beginning to take the toll on the teams with the Blues the worst hit as they scramble to field a side missing 18 squad members through injury. So we really feel it there for the Blues and for their coach Tana Umaga, and we wish them all the best. And like I said, they definitely need to win this fixture. And then the Lions will kick off their tour to Australasia against the Waratahs directly after the match between the Blues and the Highlanders. The team from Johannesburg won their last 5 matches down under and are still unbeaten on Aussie soil since 2014. Coach Suez the Brain and his men will definitely try and maintain their brilliant record against the Aussies and against the Waratahs later today. Now, talking about the Aussies and the Waratahs, it will be wonderful to see how Waratahs fullback Israel Folau perform in this match. Izzy Folau has been under a lot of pressure ever since he made some controversial comments on social media, and he's been in a lot of trouble in Australia, and he's also enjoyed a lot of support from religious groups as well as from the liberal media there. And now this whole controversial issue with Izzy Folau and Rugby Australia, it just doesn't want to go away. So the president of Rugby Australia, Raylene Castle, she's under a lot of pressure as well, because people say that she handled the whole situation incorrectly, and they don't appreciate the way Rugby Australia and Raylene Castle handled this whole situation. Now, this is an interesting thing that's happening because Israel Folau said that he will not apologize for the statements he made, and he is actually willing to leave rugby union. Now, the question is, can Australia afford to go to next year's Rugby World Cup in Japan without their most destructive weapon? And yes, he's their most destructive weapon on the rugby field and on social media as well. So we wish the Aussies all the best then. It will be wonderful to see how Izzy Folau can play against the Lions with all this pressure, on him. And wonderful news for the Stormers, and they must be excited for the inclusion of Sikumbuzo Noche. He's one of 4 changes that Stormers coach Robbie Fleck made for tomorrow's Coastal Derby against the Sharks in Durban. The Sharks played terribly against the Bulls last weekend, and they would definitely try to win against the Stormers in front of their home crowd in Durban tomorrow afternoon. And then the Bulls also coming up against the Rebels in Loftus tomorrow afternoon. I must be honest, I think the Bulls will be too strong for the Rebels, and but we wish the Bulls all the best there as well in that match against the Rebels. Now, for some sad rugby news, sad rugby news from a very proud rugby people in the Eastern Cape, and that is Border Rugby Union. Border Rugby Union was placed under provisional liquidation early in the week. That is terrible news for Border. That means that 24 contracted players and support staff might be without work, not being able to support their families, and that's really, really sad news, especially from the Eastern Cape, where they have a proud rugby history. Now, as we all know by now, the Marties beat the Picker in the final of the Varsity Cup. Marties won their 4th Varsity Cup title on Monday evening, and well done to the Marties on that one. They definitely deserved to win the final. They dominated every aspect of that final against Picker. Now, if you think the Marties The Martyrs did well. Next, we're going to talk to a club that caused for a great upset in the 2006 rugby club championships when they beat the Martyrs there. So please stay tuned for that one while we're going to talk to their representative quickly. And but before we get there, we're going to listen to some music. And yes, Kennedy Green with "Okay, No Friends."
All my old friends don't exist now. Just to get a rest now. Smoking like a green nigga too loud. Blow a pound just to get right. Never see me on the outside. Blow a pound just to get right. Never see me on the outside. Been changing up a lot now. All my old friends don't exist now. I spend a lot just to get a rest now. Still smoking like a green nigga too loud.
Batman, me like commando. Fake friends like them girl, cause them come and go.
brandlive.co.za.
The sounds of Kennedy Green with "Okay, No Friends." You're tuning to brandlive.co.za with me, JP Keyter. Time just moved on to 7 minutes past 10. And as you all know by now, Club Rugby will return to our TV screens this weekend with the second edition of the Super Rugby Challenge kicking off in KwaZulu in Port Elizabeth on Sunday morning. Now, two legendary teams from Utenac, Progress Rugby Club and the Gardens Rugby Club, will take each other on in this Gold Cup qualifier. Joining me right now on the air is the Public Relations Officer of Gardens, Mr. Clarence Hood. Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning, JP. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming on the show, Clarence. We were supposed to have this interview a couple of days back already, but we could only fit it in right now. But Clarence, please tell me, Gardens Rugby Football Club, you guys have a rich rugby history. When was this club established?
Yes, that's correct, JP. JP Gardens was established in 1932 when a few far-sighted men decided on the formation of the club. These men anticipated a club that was to foster the game of rugby for generations to come, and they strictly adhered to the principles of discipline and respect. And the name Gardens was chosen because it would describe to the character of Utenac, known as the Garden Town. And I can tell you that our first president was Mr. Barcy Daniels. And I just want to state that for the fact that the first set of jerseys was a set of long-sleeve vests dyed green underlines the poverty of these great characters that they had to experience during the 30s.
Clarence, now you guys actually formed part before or during the unification period of rugby in the early 90s. You guys actually formed part of the Progress Rugby Football Club. One of your executive members, the late Mr. Derek Ferreira, actually came up with the name Progress and with their logo as well. Now, then you guys decided to break away and form Gardens again. Do you think this is the reason why there's such a big rivalry between the two clubs nowadays?
JP, that's correct. Back in the day, in 1992, Progress Rugby Football Club was established, and the late Mr. Derek Ferreira, he came up with the name Progress and also the design of the emblem. But JP, I can tell you that's not the reason why there's a rivalry between Gardens and Progress. You must understand that these are two clubs from the same community, and they're very passionate and loyal, and very the supporters are very. When it comes to a derby, they are very in peace, and they know that these two clubs, they dish out very exciting rugby JP. So I won't say that's the main reason why it's a rivalry. It's the same like a game between the Boks and the All Blacks. So we can expect fireworks this coming Sunday.
Talking about fireworks, I know people, when they talk about the derby between Gardens and Progress, they say it's the biggest club derby or the biggest derby in club rugby in South Africa. Now, Progress are the current Eastern Province Gold Cup representatives. They played in the Gold Cup last year. Do you think that, and I know Gardens, you guys who were like crowned Eastern Cape champions a couple of times in a row, but do you think you guys can take on the current Gold Cup representatives?
JP, when it comes to a Utenek derby, form doesn't come into play. It's horses for courses. The last few years, Gardens have been very successful in the Super 12 competition. We won it in 2009, 2014, 2016, and 2017. Also, the first derby final between Gardens and Progress in 2014, where the former Minister of Sport, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, was also in attendance. JP, but I can tell you, when it comes to play, JP, and any team can win each other on the day. So I just hope that the best team will win on the day, and the ultimate winner will be rugby, and the game will obviously be played in a good spirit. But any team can win on the day, JP, so best of luck to both teams.
Clarence, baie vinnig voor ons tot sien sê vir mekaar, wil ek net by jou hoor dat julle albei clubs het 'n groot supporters base binne in die Nelson Mandela Bay en in die Oos-Kaap. Wat sal jy sê is die grootste uitdagings wat Gardens Rugby Club in die gesig staar?
JP, 'n klub soos Gardens, as ook Progress, as ons kyk oor die jare, het ons groot name laat val in Suid-Afrikaanse rugby. Progress het vir Maties geklop destyds. Gardens het ook vir die Spits geklop in 2013 vir die Community Cup gewen het. En Gardens was die enigste klub wat die Spits kon geklop het in 2013 in die hele land. En Gardens en Progress is amateur clubs. Ons het nie borge nie, JP, maar die talent wat ons het, net vandag is geweldig, JP. En my beste wense is vir hierdie game wat gaan plaas van Sondag, dat ons clubs daai exposure kry, as ook borge, want hier is hoop talent in ons streek, JP.
When will the game kick off on Sunday morning, Clarence? What time?
JP, the game between Progress and Gardens will kick off at 1 o'clock at the Kwazekele in Port Elizabeth at the Isaac Wilson Stadium. And it forms part of the Super Sport Rugby Challenge. That will be Sunday morning, 10:30 on the 22nd of April, and the gates will open at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Thank you very much, Clarence. Thank you for your time, and we wish you everything of the best for Sunday's match and everything of the best for your club. May you have a wonderful weekend. But once again, thank you for joining us on the show.
It's a pleasure, JP. Thanks for having me on your show. Enjoy your day. Thank you.
There was Mr. Clarence Hood, the PRO of Gardens Rugby Football Club in Utenek. Next, we're going to talk to Progress, their biggest rivalry. It's a great rivalry between the two clubs, and we're going to talk to Progress. And yes, we're going to talk to Mr. Brian Salters. He's also the Public Relations Officer of Progress. Stay tuned. Next, we're going to listen to Joshua the I Am with a song called 12 a.m. in Camden while we get hold of Brian Salters.
You have an amazing accent. And yeah, definitely tomorrow, because tomorrow I've got work, so that's why I need to have a shower and go to sleep. But tomorrow, we've got to have work the next day after as well. But yeah, we can talk late at night, not too late though. But yeah.
It's 6 a.m. the sun's coming up.
Sun's coming up. Sun's coming
10
up.
p.m. the sun's going down.
Sun's going down. Sun's going
And I
down.
just don't wanna be in my hotel.
Motel.
I guess I'ma just have to do it myself.
Doing myself. Shit. Every time that I grow, a nigga just dies. Nigga, so I look to the sky like, why am I alive? Why am I alive? And I guess that all I can do is just strive. Shit. Gotta stay on my grind, put the bullshit aside. I just turned 22 and I'm living my dreams. You wouldn't believe everything that I've seen. And I guess I just smile every time that I think that I know what it means. Now my ex-girl texts me saying that she my city. But I said I'm out the country, like, isn't that a pity?
12 a.m. in Camden, I'm flying like Aladdin, blowing smoke like I'm a dragon, rocking all the latest fashion. It's
12 a.m. in Camden. When I started rapping, I asked my mom and dad if they thought this would ever happen. That was 12 a.m. in Camden. It's 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 12 a.m. in Camden. When I started rapping, I asked my mom and dad if they thought this would ever happen. Shout out to my niggas on the north. And I bought clothes that I barely could afford. So they praise the niggas, these had me feeling like the Lord. So
brandlive.co.za.
The sounds of Joshua the I Am with 12 a.m. in Camden. You're tuning into brandlive.co.za with me, JP Keyter. Time just moved on to 16 minutes past 10. Now, as you know, just before the music break, we spoke to the PRO of Gardens Rugby Football Club, Clarence Hood. And joining me right now on the air is the PRO of the Progress Rugby Football Club, also in Uitenhage. And like we said earlier on, Progress made name for themselves when they beat the Mighty Marties at the club champs in 2006. And yes, they will play in this derby. The derbies between Progress and Gardens are known as the biggest club rugby derbies, one of the biggest club rugby derbies in South Africa, and especially in the Eastern Cape. Good morning to you, Brian.
Morning, JP.
Brian, thank you so much, man, for joining us on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Brian, now, like I just mentioned now, one of the biggest achievement of Progress Rugby Football Club is the fact that you guys beat the Marties in 2006. And last year, you guys represented the Eastern Province in the Gold Cup competition. This coming Sunday's match between Gardens is a Gold Cup qualifier. Do you think that all that experience that you gained last year, and especially the victory over the Marties couple of years back or more than 10 years ago, who definitely put you in a position to win on Sunday, make you the favorite team to win on Sunday?
Yes, thanks, JP. I think that at the end of the day, it is a team that picks that can pull the game through. Gardens is a well-settled team. They will definitely go in as favorites, seeing that they participated in the Super 12 competition of the Eastern Province and the Border Rugby Union. So they're a more settled team at this stage. We might go in with a little bit more experience, and hopefully with the bounce of the ball on the day, we're pretty confident that we've done enough preparations, but definitely Gardens will be our favorites to pull this one through. But we'll just rock up and do our utmost best.
Brian, the two teams are doing extremely well in South African rugby, club rugby. You guys are punching above your weight. And do you think that you get the necessary recognition from Eastern Province Rugby Union and from SARU or in the country for the contribution you guys make to rugby in South Africa?
I think being settled down in the Eastern Cape, we always have those challenges, and yet at club level, at provincial level, we go through those challenges in terms of financial challenges, and surely the union is also battling with that, but those are bridges which we have to cross. In terms of recognition, yes, I think from the rugby, we can do a little bit more in terms of club rugby and see where it's going. With the Gold Cup, I think is absolutely finding the right direction. The guys is getting the necessary exposure and stuff like that, and that's what these guys are doing. We're basically sitting with youngsters, with guys, with factory workers, and participating in the Gold Cup is actually for them something much better than just being the ordinary league challenges or within the union structures.
Talking about unique challenges, what would you say are the challenges that Progress Rugby Football Club, the unique challenges that Progress is facing at this point in time?
We had a session the other day where we tried to develop our own business plan, actually updated it, and we've done our SWOT analysis, and some of the threats is one. Once your club does good, other clubs will poach the players. The financial instability, because rugby, you need to put something on the table in terms of transporting players, people, the guys who are working shifts, how you can accommodate them, the cost of playing rugby when you play away games. And obviously the school structures, the club guys are really going to the schools now and trying to poach those guys that played first rugby at school level. And then obviously the transition within your rugby club, between your juniors and your seniors. Guy might play good rugby at 21 level, and then you think he's good enough to play at the first team for the club, and then there's those things that you need to manage. Those are the challenges that clubs rugby face, especially battle with.
Maar Brian, jy sê jy's 100% verseker, jy's 100% reg of jy's 100% seker daarvan dat die spelers reg is vir Sondag se game. Die man het genoeg en die Millers se hardloop.
Absoluut. Ek kon nie gee sien julle weet dat ons het opgebou gisterand toe kon ons basis in hardheid van opgewondenheid en die manne kan nie wag om Sondag die ding te doen. Ek is confident dat ons manne Saterdag Sondagoggend sal opdag en hierdie die waarde die wedstryd is 'n groot daardie en ons moet die bragging rights terugkry. Ons moet players probeer kry om te probeer dat die klub wil speel en probeer die beste te wees. Ons is die beste, ons is die kampioene van die current die kampioene en ons wil die beste bly. So my manne is baie selfversekerd en ons kan dit voel. Ons kan excitement in die lug voel gisteraan dat ons Saterdag wel Gardens sal aanpak Sondag en ons sal dan die stryd train.
Brian Salters, thank you very much, man, for joining us on the air. We wish you everything of the best for your match against Gardens on Sunday.
Thanks, my brother.
Mr. Brian Salters, PRO of Progress Rugby Football Club. And yes, that match kicking off at 10:30 Sunday morning. It will be live on Super Sport, so you can just check those two clubs out. And I can assure you, you will see some entertaining, high-quality running rugby. Well, that's the show for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow again. And please continue supporting us and watching this show. Bye.
Live from 27 boxes in the heart of Melville, this is brandlive.co.za.